right, we're having just a few more people join here, but we're going to get started with our webinar today. Carrie, are you on here with us?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Perfect. Well, thanks everybody for joining. We're really excited about today's webinar. The topic of this week's webinar, for those of you, a lot of you guys have been in several of these webinars, this whole series. The topic of today's webinar is a partner showcase. This is the first time we've done this, and we've partnered with companies in the past for different things, but we've never done quite the level of integration that we're doing here with ApplicInt. And so we're really, really excited about this partnership. We really think it's going to benefit you guys quite a bit, and kind of in your business and what you're doing. We've had a lot of requests for this. We've had a lot of interest in this type of a partnership, and we're finally done with it, launched it. There's a few people already using it, so most of the kinks are worked out, and then we're just going to continue to grow and do it. So with us here, we have Carrie Alexander. She's the president over at ApplicInt. Welcome, Carrie. She will be a presenter as well. So she's going to talk to you guys a little bit about who ApplicInt is, what they do, kind of their perspective on the integration, and so I'll let her take over for a little bit here, and then any questions that you guys have, feel free to direct them at either myself or at ApplicInt, or at Carrie, and of course, my name is Lasse Young, for those of you who are new to this webinar. But yeah, feel free to direct questions at any of us. For those of you who have not been to these webinars before, there's a little chat icon up in your kind of green menu bar there where you can chat in questions. So if you have questions about ApplicInt tools, IXN tools, or the combination of the two, feel free to chat in any of those questions. We usually leave some time at the end as well to do question and answer, but feel free to throw them in, and if they're pertinent, we'll answer them along the way. Carrie, did you want to add anything to that introduction?
Yeah, I can add that ApplicInt has been a software provider for the insurance industry for approximately 20 years. Most of you probably are familiar with either our digital pyramid software or Express Complete, which is the drop ticket system in which we completed the integration with IXN for. And I'm very pleased with this partnership because I think it is mutually beneficial, and I look forward to working with you guys.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Carrie. So let's pop right in. So what we are going to kind of decide here, what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be covering a few things on, why did we do an integration with ApplicInt? What does the integration do? And then how. The how is, how does the integration, how can it affect your business or my business? And if you're the one asking the question. So we're going to kind of focus on these three things. So first of all, I will start with the why here. So why did we do an integration with ApplicInt? Someone just chatted in that they lost sound. Can everyone hear me? Carrie, you can still hear me, right?
I can hear you. There was a momentary break. It was just for a fraction of a second.
Oh, okay.
But you're back now.
Okay. Well, that's weird. Okay. Well, hopefully we don't have too many sound issues. So the main reason for the integration was because ApplicInt's a really cool company. We're a cool company, so we could be cool kids together. But no, really what it comes down to is, there's a few things that we've done really well. Quoting and forms, mobile apps, web development. And there's a few things that ApplicInt does really well. And the idea here is that you put two companies together or more, and who focus on things that they do really well, rather than trying to do everything for everybody. You put the best of breed together, it provides a better service for you. So we did this integration partially because we had clients who said, hey, we really want this, but also because it becomes a great solution for our clients and for applicants' clients. There's a lot of value that us integrating with them adds to their platform, and them integrating with us adds to our platform. For those of you who don't know what ApplicInt does, we'll get into that here in just a second. But really, we want to try to provide the best solution possible for our clients. We want to provide we want to focus on things that we do really well. It's not to say that we aren't going to innovate and try to build different things in the future, and perhaps ApplicInt will as well. But we just looked at our application, we looked at theirs, and both of us do what we do really, really well. And so we felt like by partnering with them, it creates a great solution for you guys. Carrie, did you want to add anything to the why there?
The one thing I would add is that, within our current list of agencies who use Express Complete, our drop ticket platform, one of the most frequent requirements or questions that we got is, how do we make the quoting module more robust? Our clients needed a quoting tool that did a better job of, at calculating a quote to incorporate writers, or to calculate the quote to accurately for table rating. It was the number one requirement that we got. And I'll be honest, those were limitations for the quoting providers that we had originally integrated within Express Complete, and IXN fits the bill 100% in terms of us being able to, like Lassie said, bring in a partnership where we had the best possible quoting system combined with what ApplicInt's strength was, which is creating a carrier-specific drop ticket and being able to submit it into a fulfillment center for faster processing. So that's, we reached out to IXN because we had clients who needed us to step up our game essentially within the quoting compartment, and IXN fit the bill to a T.
Awesome. And so, and in retrospect, we felt like we did the quoting really well, but we had a lot of clientele who wanted to not just quote, but take it further, to actually submit the business. And in the past, we had kind of built kind of a do-it-yourself drop ticket. It wasn't really a drop ticket because it never actually submitted anything to the carrier. For those of you who have used it before, it was like a form builder tool. So you could build your own forms, essentially. But we were missing that connection to actually submit the business, to do the drop ticket and submit all the way to the carrier. And that's where ApplicInt, we felt like there's nobody who does it better, and they do a really good job of that. So it's like a perfect marriage between our two companies. Thanks for that. So let's talk a little bit about the what. So what I'm going to do, because a lot of you guys, this is the IXN webinar, ApplicInt's going to be doing a webinar soon to their clients, where it'll be from the other perspective, but some of you may not be familiar with ApplicInt. So I'm going to let Carrie talk to you guys a little bit about what ApplicInt does, and how the integration works on their end. I'll show you guys how it works on our end, and then we'll hop into how it actually works. I'll demo the actual integration and go from there. So these slides for Carrie. So Carrie, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so Express Complete is really a web-based multi-carrier ticket submission platform. You can, every agency is able, similar to how you do within IXN today, agencies are able to identify the carriers and the products that they want their users to be able to use the system in conjunction with. One of the nice things is that you really are able to incorporate various workflows depending upon your niche. We have the ability to incorporate a printing process where tickets prior to submission need to be approved by somebody within your back office. If you have new agencies or new agents, or possibly it might just be appropriate for the first transaction that a new agent submits through you, it's a good habit to have. And so we've incorporated a lot of different tools that really do ensure that agencies can use Express Complete to really achieve faster processing cycles for applications and honestly to grow their market share. We have many agencies who are using our system in conjunction with sub-agencies who are processing their business through them. And depending upon the relationship that you may have with one of those sub-agencies, you can opt in or out of requiring or incorporating the principling process for each of those respective sub-agencies. But the system is browser and device agnostic, so it is very mobile friendly. You're able to go in and regardless of the browser, you're able to run your quote and you're able to submit the corresponding tickets. If you take a look at the screen here, you can see that the system does, the quoting process, which is the top screenshot. It's pretty straightforward. If you're accessing it from a smartphone, obviously you're just going to be touching the various fields and selecting the applicable input. And when you click the quote button, the system will essentially compare the quote request with the user credentials to display the corresponding products. Once the agent selects the appropriate product, they would click, in most cases, they click the application button, and it would take them directly into the ticket. Lastly, if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide.
Yep.
This is what the ticket looks like. It's short, it's sweet, and it's pretty straightforward. We have opted to eliminate a lot of the bells and whistles because, frankly, it just takes longer for the screens to load. We've done a lot of testing in order to really be able to make sure that regardless of a user's familiarity with technology, that the process is easy for them to complete. And it is. It's a very intuitive system. You start at the top of the screen, you complete the questions, or the fields, I should say, that are highlighted in yellow, and you click Save and Continue. So the system is saving the information on a page-by-page basis. In order to improve usability of the system, we also do limit the questions on any given screen such that more often than not, the system user is not having to scroll in order to complete the questions on a given page. Every carrier ticket is different. And when we entered this market space, it was at the request of carriers and also a couple of IMOs who said, you know what, agents tend to gravitate towards a single carrier product because they become familiar with that application process. And as everybody knows, there's a lot of new products hitting the market, such as accelerated underwriting products. And you know what? The industry needed a better way of getting agents to submit more drop tickets and to become more comfortable with the system such that they chose the right product rather than just the products that they were most familiar with. So although there are a tremendous number of carrier differences between each of our tickets, they're actually minimized within our process because of the consistent design and reflexive interview format that we've incorporated into all of our tickets. The average ticket from quote to submission takes anywhere between 3 to 7 minutes, depending on the carrier and honestly depending upon the applicant. But it is straightforward. Once an agent uses the system one time, regardless of product or carrier, they are easily able to use this process to submit any other ticket for any other product on the platform. It's intuitive. I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter what their device or browser preference is. As long as they click on the link, they're able to run their quote and then proceed to the ticket, and it gets submitted electronically to the designated fulfillment center. For most of our carriers, we do have feeds in place such that from within the same portal while they are submitting the transaction, we are receiving the status updates. And what's nice for agencies is that they just feel like they are not losing visibility of the ticket when it goes into the call center environment. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Yep.
Thank you. Like I said, there are a tremendous number of marketing opportunities. As fabulous as I think the ApplicInt logo is, not a single one of the 400 plus instances of Express Complete have our logo. The logo that you see in the top left-hand corner obviously gets replaced with the agency logo to provide agencies with an opportunity for branding. If you guys are using the system in conjunction with sub-agencies, while your GA information is still located within the profile of the agency, you do provide agencies with the option of branding the system for their purposes. So it can have whatever logo that agency is wanting to display. If you look at the screenshot in the background, you'll see that's the ticket status. as I said, visibility was key to adoption. From the same portal where these tickets are being submitted, anyone within the agency can view the ticket status, and it's not just whether or not the ticket was successfully submitted. It'll also tell you first call attempt completed, second call attempt, interview completed, exam scheduled, etc. Any questions? When we hit the demo, we'll go through more of the functionality of the system, but at a really high level, what I can say is that the system has been so easy to use that agencies have found that the agents who were using the system, they weren't just using the system to submit the business that they would have submitted anyways. It was so easy that the agents themselves started submitting more business. We have spoken with the carriers who are on this platform, and every single carrier has reported that the platform is generating more volume than any of their other third-party solutions to date.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. So that was a really good overview of what you guys do. Feel free, guys, if you chime in, if you have any questions about their system and how that works along the way, feel free to chime those in. We can answer them at the end. Perfect. Well, that was great. So essentially what we've done, so you can see they do have a quote engine. So it works fine. The real I think where you guys struggle a little bit on the quote engine is the fact that your quote engine doesn't have the substandard rates, riders, waivers, those types of rates built into the engine, and so that was a part of the reason for the integration. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are working on a way for even from within the system here, right, Carrie? That you'll be able to put the IXN quote engine in here in place of yours. That's a future thing, but it's not quite ready yet. But that's something that's going to be taking place in the future, right?
That's correct. The necessity for a more robust quoting module was so high that we really had to proceed with the fastest integration, which was to integrate Express Complete into the IXN platform. And we are already working on the phase 2 aspect of the project, which is we are modifying agency profiles such that each agency will be able to go into their current Express Complete profile and be able to select to essentially be able to switch their quoting module from the base system to instead incorporating the IXN quoting tool in the top part of the screen that you see here. So yes, it is actually currently in development.
Perfect. I just want to make sure people who, are IXN users who are using the IXN quote engine or have subscribed to that know that, that's something that's going to be. So when you're sending your agents to use ApplicInt, they'll have the same quote engine that will be on your website in the future. Right now, it is this quote engine, but you, like we'll show here, you can still go from your website, the one that's plugged into your site, the IXN quote engine, into doing a drop ticket, and it'll just bypass this quote engine. And so we'll show you guys that in a second. Great. Well, let me talk to you guys a little bit about kind of what we did here. So for those of you who have seen the Agency Life Quoter, that's our quote engine that does the substandard rates. It's our agent-facing quote engine. For those of you who are either subscribers to that, clients of ours that are ready or have considered it, this is what a quote result looks like when you expand it. And so what we've done is this action bar here, we've plugged in Express Complete. And so when you click that, it will actually it'll ask a few questions, and it'll take all the information that's already been filled out during the quoting process, such as the quote results, the state, the different, the date of birth, and it'll populate that right over to ApplicInt. It just asks for a few other questions before you actually pop into ApplicInt. But what will happen is when you click this Submit Express Complete button, it's going to pop over that, and it'll already have filled out the quote. So I'll actually show you guys that working in a second. So essentially now you can go from quote to result to submission all in a seamless process. And that was the whole idea behind the integration from our perspective. Is before you could do quote, you could do results, and then from there you had to figure out how to submit that business. And you can still do that. You can still, obviously we still have our forms engine, and you can do paper apps and go wherever you want. But this is a really nice integration. So let me show you the other thing that I'd want to show you guys is our mobile app integration as well. For those of you who have mobile apps with us, this is something that's coming here, where make sure if you're interested in our mobile app services, or if you're already a mobile app client, that you're on our webinar next week on August 3rd. We're going to be showcasing our new one. This is actually our current one. We're going to be launching our new one. The new one will have a really nice applicant integration. It is working now, but we're going to be coming out with our new version of it. But here's the same thing essentially from the mobile app, where you can go in, get to the quote results, start an Express Complete app, you fill out a few questions, and that populates it right into Applicant. So that's another piece of it. So you'll be able to not only submit business from the desktop application, but also from the mobile app application there, that's really a game changer, because now it makes it really, really mobile. You know, you're right there on the golf course, you submit, you're done. So it's a pretty cool integration there. So let's talk about how we're going to do the product demo here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys this actually working. Is this screen really dark to you guys? Maybe it's not.
It's dark.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. I think what's happening is my screen recorder here. I'm going to turn this off. There we go. That's better. All right. So this is the agency life quoter. For those of you who haven't seen it before, it embeds right onto a website. So someone can go in here and they can run a quote. So let's run a quote here. We're going to run this quote for Carrie. And Carrie's in California. I don't know your actual age, so we're not going to put that in. Looks
23.
Like yeah, 23. There you go. So it actually auto-populates the last agents. So looks like I was running this as Sam last time I was doing this. That's not his actual info. Oh, Sam's a client of ours. But let's say we want to run a quote. So you can do standard, you can do a table rated case. So if you want to do like a table B, you can do comparisons there. We can select our carriers down here. It looks like this one's got a limited number of carriers, but we can say if we just want to see John Hancock in the results and American General, you can kind of limit those. It looks like this is our demo one, so our sales team was probably playing around with it. But let's say we want to compare a 10 and a 20-year term, and we'll run a quote. Okay. Oh, I have 0 carriers selected. I turned off all the carriers, so it wouldn't let me run the quote. There we go. Whoops. All right. We've got our quote results. You can see that came up really, really quick. From here, for those of you who have not seen this before, we can see our 10 and a 20-year term. We can create a PDF comparison if we want to and download that. We can text it. We can email it. But where the applicant integration comes into play is when you mouse over these, you'll notice it says click for more details. So if I mouse over legal and general here and I click on them, what it's going to do is it's going to show some product information. You've got your forms, state availability, and best. But in this action bar, I've got my Express Complete integration. And this can actually be customized. So like Carrie was saying, on the applicant side of things, you can put your own logo in there and totally brand it. You can do the same thing here. We've had some people call this a snappy app or some different things that they want to call it to kind of make it, kind of brand it for themselves. So you can actually upload your own icon and name it yourself if you want. And I'll show you guys how to do that in the back end here in a second. But, for the purpose of this, I just put it as Express Complete and uploaded kind of the applicant icon here. But that can be whatever you want. If I click on that, it'll pop up and it'll ask for a few items. And you can see it populated the client name. And if you're a brokerage, a BGA or IMO, and you're wondering, how does this associate with me? In the back end, it's already been set up to associate with your agency. So ApplicInt will give you a kind of an admin username and password that you give to us, and that associates the account. So we do that in the back end. So that way, when they pop over to ApplicInt, they know that this is your brand. I'll show you that here. Let's say Ramona, California. I have no idea what the zip code is there, but it doesn't really matter. So, oops. Oh, we got someone else joining here. And then we're going to put in, that's Carrie's social security number in case you guys were wondering. No, just kidding.
Most definitely.
All right. Yeah. You said you were 23, right? Let's go down here and pick.
Right.
No, it's a little more than 23. But so you click Submit Express Complete. What it's going to do now is it's going to pop right into ApplicInt. Now, normally this would have your logo here, but this is a demo account, so it doesn't have that. It does require a sign in there, so the agent does sign in, and that's because on our end, our quote in is not behind a password protected area. It can be, but by default it's not, and so we do need to know who the agent is. So there was a sign in there. Now that I'm signed in, you can see it's populated name, social security number, date of birth, mail. It populated the quote that we ran. And then there's just a few more fields that you have to fill out. You go through these steps. Each carrier is a little bit different. That's why we have ApplicInt manage that part of it, because we just kind of on our end, the process is the same for every carrier every time. But once you get into ApplicInt, then there are some carrier specific questions that you need to fill out. So at this point, you would just go through the different steps and then submit. So let's do that here real quick. So let's say they want to be called at 5 p.m. Click Save and Continue. This is a person.
While he's typing, I'll go ahead and provide some colorful dialogue. As I said, every single carrier ticket is different. The state variations, the product, the carrier variations, all of those are seamlessly integrated into the reflexive interview such that the agent just has to start at the top of the screen and move down. I mean, we have, when we add a carrier to the system, one of the things that we do is that we work in conjunction with the underwriters at the carrier as well as the fulfillment centers in order to identify what are all of the acts of the agent. Because when these tickets are being submitted, they are being submitted to a call center with the expectation that at no point should they have to go back to the agent. Obviously, there are going to be times where perhaps the agent number that an agent provided could be wrong, which is why within every ticket that we submit, we are including the GA information, which is provided by you, the agency. That GA information is what the carrier will use in the event that they receive a ticket where some aspect of the agent information cannot be reconciled on their end. Typically speaking, the number one reason why tickets ended up in a black hole was because carriers were not able to auto-process them due to an error within either the agent or the agency information that was provided on the ticket. So within the applicant system, we are auto-populating, as I said, all of that GA information. And if you at the agency level do take the time to populate the agent profiles with the correct license information, we have the ability to lock those profiles such that agents cannot accidentally make any changes to their agent information to ensure that these tickets are being seamlessly processed, both by the fulfillment center as well as by the carrier when they receive them. Sorry, Lassie, you can take it from here. I just wanted to provide some dialogue while you were going through the process.
No, that's great. So, while Carrie was talking there, I finished it. It took me about a minute maybe, and I'm done. I'm submitted. I click close. It'll pop me back into the quote engine, and I'm done. From there, if you guys want to see more on the applicant side on, how you see status and all that kind of stuff, I recommend you contact Carrie or someone on her team, or give us a call and we can get you over to them if you'd like, and we can and they can demo more of that. We don't have too much time to go into all that here today. But yeah, you can see how quick that was. That integration is really nice. Again, you can do that. You'll be able to do that from the mobile apps, from the agency life quoter. Another point I want to make sure everyone knows is ApplicInt is free. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be using ApplicInt. If you're a client of ours, now that this integration there, it doesn't cost you anything extra to do the integration with ApplicInt. It doesn't cost you anything extra for on our platform. It doesn't cost you anything extra as if you're on our new pricing. Our old pricing, we used to have like a drop ticket add-on you had to do. That's no more. So now it's just you buy the agency life quoter and forms, and any integrations like this come with it. And it doesn't cost you anything on ApplicInt. You may think that's, it's too good to be true, or like there's got to be a catch, right? And so there really isn't. If you're with ApplicInt, the applicant gets paid by the carrier. And so they've made it free to their agents. They do have some other paid services as well that you can feel free to talk to them about. But yeah, so if you're like on the fence about it, hopefully that pushes you over. Let us know. We're happy to set you up with a demo or a consultation with them if you guys need it. Awesome. So that was essentially it. I just showed it to you working. And again, here's American General. Again, Express Complete. John Hancock, it's going to be here as well. They do have which you want to tell everybody which carriers. Obviously, you can see a few, but what are the carriers this is available for?
The current carriers on the platform are typically going to be American General, Banner, John Hancock, Protective, Mutual of Omaha, SBLI, William Penn, Pac Life. I might be missing a couple of other ones. North American is launching next month. Prudential is coming the following month. Give me 1 second and I'll double check my carrier list.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the first I'd heard about North American and Prudential, so that's exciting.
North American launches next month. We are wrapping up contracts for Cincinnati, which is one of your carriers.
Yep.
And then Lincoln is currently working on either a fourth quarter 2017 launch or more than likely a first quarter 2018. We are working consistently with carriers. We typically add one carrier to the platform every other month.
Awesome.
So, as Lassie said, the carriers are, one of the things that you're going to find is that carriers are heavily promoting this platform. It has brought them a tremendous amount of efficiencies, and it really has resulted in their agents submitting more business. It's not just that it's free. It's about the fact that it's an easy system to use. There's not an extensive amount of training that any agency has to provide to their system users, or their agents, I should say, to get them to use the system. It's a solid system. It's going to continue to grow both in terms of functionality as well as in terms of the number of carriers. And that is our expectation.
Awesome. Well, I think that brings us pretty much to the end, guys. We're really excited about this relationship we have with ApplicInt. If any, like I mentioned before, if any of you are interested in learning more about it, seeing a demo of it from our end, feel free to get in touch with us. If you want to talk to ApplicInt, let's see here. What's the best number for them to call, Carrie, if they want to talk to you guys?
You know what? They can call 775-525-5220. And that will direct them. They can just click on the sales prompt, and perfect. There you go. There's the phone number in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, I just put it in that chat box, guys. So if you guys need their number, that's right there. Feel free to give them a call. So there's a question up here. Do advisors need to be appointed with the carrier prior to submitting their first app?
Typically speaking, the answer to that is no. We have found that while there are a couple of carrier exceptions, and sometimes those exceptions are based on state, for the most part, as you saw when Lassie was completing the banner ticket, there is a checkbox that allows the system user to indicate that they are not yet appointed. And when those tickets are submitted, you receive a notification not only that the ticket was submitted, but that the agent indicated that they were not yet appointed, which will allow you to start the appointment process. So typically you can expect the fact that nope, they do not, most of the carriers are not requiring pre-appointment. But as I said, a couple of state exceptions.
Awesome.
And if the state does require pre-appointment, the system will indicate that.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, it's all, it's all kind of there, so you guys don't have to really worry about it. I was just gonna get there to where that was. I was hoping to do that.
I think if you go to payment, just keep going through. You'll get to it.
I can come back later.
Mm-hmm.
So
it won't even let you get to the agent part because the point at which we request agent information is the point at which the ticket has been completed.
Gotcha.
And so that's where you would see the agent information on this ticket.
I think we can get there quick. Show you guys. If there's any other questions, we'll do this while we wait for any other questions that you guys have about the system. Feel free to chat those in.
We do follow up at ApplicInt. We follow up with the carriers consistently in order to identify any changes that we might need to make within the ticket to prevent any type of fulfillment delays that they would have encountered either in the fulfillment environment or in the carrier environment. So it is changing at different times. Okay, the new carriers that you are going to expect to see is North American will be available next month, and then Prudential will be available in October. Cincinnati Life is currently looking at September. Lincoln is expected to be either end of fourth quarter or beginning of first quarter 2018. Current carriers are American General, Banner, Centurion, John Hancock, Protective Life, SBLI, Mutual of Omaha, and William Penn. And on the screen that Lassie is showing here now, you can see to the right of the field for agent number, there is a box for agent not yet contracted. And if he checks that box, it will eliminate the highlight on the agent number field, which means that the ticket is able to be submitted prior to agent appointment.
There you go. So next question was, if the advisor doesn't know his agent number and we make it a requirement to review and approve the ticket prior to submission, are we able to update their agent number before we submit the app?
Yes, you are. So yes.
There you go.
There
you go. Yes. There you go, David. Any other questions?
I will also say that there are going to be times when you find out after the fact that an agent submitted the incorrect phone number. All you have to do is call the call center, and we do within our system. We provide you with the phone number for the correct call center. You call them up and say, agent provided the incorrect license number, and they will very quickly change it on their end.
And I will say ApplicInt has really good customer support. Every time that we've had an issue or, we've needed to change something or needed to update some credentials, they've been really fast at getting back to us. Obviously, that's from a partner perspective, but it's the same number that we call that you guys call. So they're really good at getting back to you guys quickly, and they're a good company to work with. So awesome. Well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. Thank you, Carrie, for joining us today. We're really excited about this. Like I said, reach out to your sales rep here at ApplicInt or myself. If you have questions, want a personal demo, or things like that, we're happy to run through that with you. And so we'll finish it up here, and appreciate everyone's taking their time to join us today, and Carrie, and we're excited about this moving forward.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, have a good one.